Alex Answer here. It is November 14th in the year 2017. Coming to you earlier than normal on this day. Gonna get a lot done. Gonna get a change of scenery. I want to recenter the conversation today on the need for people to come together over the things that matter. You know, I've been sharing this message for over 10 years now, but I have evolved beyond, right, the typically commonly said phrase within the so-called truth movement or awakening movement. When are people going to wake up? Reality is a little bit more complex than that. A lot of people aren't going to wake up. The masses aren't going to wake up. The masses are not waking up. You know, I was stressing this yesterday. So I want to stress today the importance of people coming together over the things that matter. Now, with regards to that, another important conversation is protecting your psyche from intrusion in the day and age of internet addiction. And if someone's addicted to the internet, more than likely they've come across disinformation that is custom tailored to dividing, putting them into a box, putting others into a box, and then separating as a society, and society itself breaking up. Instead of breaking up into regions right away, first break them up into, different cliques, kind of like high school, but do it to adult societies over politics and micropolitics. And do this before the next geopolitical chess pieces, this is how they're thinking, the powers that be, are pushed. The next buttons are pushed. The next red buttons. Because at that level, some people will be desperate for the country to be brought together again. They can manufacture a divide with technology, like MK Ultra the society, and then bring them together over a war or after a false flag. This society needs to heal. Some people need to live a healthier way of life to survive the psychological warfare. Some people are in denial that they're targeted. Some people think they know what it's like or what it is to be a targeted individual. Oh, no, this is targeting and the buzzing in the ears and the voices in the head. But, these false beliefs that these people are refugees. Yeah, that's a legitimate original thought. They can take people, they can put them away, take away their rights, put a bag over their head. 5 years later, they emerge after a certain amount of programming and mind control. And you know as well as I do that they can send a group of 1,000 soldiers, if you will, that are basically sleeper agents into anywhere at any time to create a ruckus. And then they can use that with social media to catapult propaganda calling for the genocide of a race of people, and then people confusing race and religion. And then after they confuse race and religion, right, which is what they've done, then they say, oh no, there's no discrimination or racism. Muslims aren't a race. So they demonize them first as Muslims. So they have the excuse to kill them or anyone suspected of being Muslim. This is Satanism. This is just like when the early settlers or elements of them or the military would kill the Native Americans, or in some cases torture them or scalp them or peel the skin off their body. And it is that type of demonic peel the skin off the body and run around. It's something at a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it's been brought out into the modern world. And then people have been served up propaganda on the internet to go along with it. And see, all this brings about deep spiritual, profound spiritual parasite energy into the body, the collective body of this country. So I like the idea of people coming together, not over war, but over compassion. How about that? How about this moment in time in which I speak to you this morning? I call together the higher consciousness of those that are able to see this video as we pray for those victims of war. As we recognize what is happening, and we choose to step away from that machine, even energetically. You know, some people can't even hear what's going on, let alone say, you know what, I'm going to energetically step back from that machine, that genocidal machine that is actually creating almost an archon over the society. Almost as if like the demons of the society are of the society's own making. You hear about troops that have gone overseas and killed, only to come back waking up choking their wife. I've heard about things like this 10 years ago. Or other mental health issues. Yeah, they bombed the region where some ancients may have been buried. You talk about the Shakana campaign and even the words being used. It's like an awakening of particular deities. And that's what I think those bombs dropped in Iraq in 2003 have done. For anyone that knows even the most basic thing about spiritual parasites or have a little bit of intuition, they're piggyback spirits. They can only be transported by human body, by courting with the human body. Gee, I wonder what's a way to pollute the American continent with really bad malicious spirits from the east. Oh, I got an idea. Yeah, you bomb that region. Boom, 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 boom. Send a bunch of troops over there, then bring them back. Party time. See, I've never seen Laura Eisenhower, James Gilland, or other supposed spiritual teachers bring this up, but this is. Clyde Lewis back in the day did a episode on the Shock and Awe campaign and why Sinan was running with those words on screen that actually were the name of a Babylonian deity or goddess. Entity of some type. So what is there for people to come together right now? Las Vegas conspiracy theories, pedogate? What about other children that have been raped? Why just look over here? Why not look over at things that Cynthia McKinney, right? Look at Cynthia McKinney grilling Rumsfeld. Look it up on YouTube. What's Alex talking about? I just don't understand his passion. Look up Cynthia McKinney, Donald Rumsfeld, 2003, 2005. Okay? Where's her passion from the women of today's day and age? Tell me. Show me. What kind of a planet or a brain would it take, or human form or heart, to have compassion? See, our society needs to return to compassion for all living human beings. You can have compassion right now for the whole world. You can have compassion in your heart for innocent human beings and innocent human beings that could be harmed in the future. You could say and know in your own mind, I am stepping back from any support of that draconian system. Do you think that this society is really woken up to pulling back its support and standing up to the occasion to expose the evildoers, the people that have manufactured these deceptions, that have manufactured this war on consciousness? Because I appreciate the many perspectives that are out there on the internet regarding psychic self-defense. I probably have 50 videos downloaded, and I like to come across information where it's like, wow, they're sharing with me something I need to hear. So in a sense, they're my teacher. In some videos, well, they're really explaining my situation. In other situations, we're echoing the same thing. In other situations, I might go, where they really sure are talking a lot about this, but it's what they're omitting. It's what they all seem to be omitting. That at times has me in a mild state of stress. But I take my deep breath and I remind myself what I remind you, and especially when you're absorbing my content. Take what relates or what you can use and leave the rest. In some cases, discernment and be able to discern the truth for yourself, and so somebody else tell you who has the ultimate truth. Because that's not the ultimate question. Who has the ultimate truth? That's not what I'm looking for. In fact, I pulled away from watching a lot of other people in the quote-unquote alternative media. But that doesn't mean I don't use YouTube to look for random people that have produced videos on particular topics where they've given those topics a lot of thought. But they're definitely not flying under the flag of conspiracy theory or alternative media. Because those that in general do, right? I don't hear spirit from them. I don't hear these conspiracy theorists, my so-called brothers in arms, talk about the spiritual consequences of a society that's involved in a genocide of millions of people. It's something that needs to be addressed. Every white person that purports to care about white America and the future of whites in general should be concerned about how many have been killed in our name when our own country has let China rise as much as it has. That is a recipe for disaster. They're not really doing all this for white people. Sure, below the surface, there is a U.S. Russia white supremacy alliance to exterminate much of the third world by 2100. And this is absolutely what I feel in spirit, which is going absolutely contrary to what some people are being taught. But it is absolutely the conspiracy that today's so-called conspiracy aware folks or politically aware folks or compassionate spiritual folks. Let's not put a label on it, folks. You're either awake or you're asleep at this point. You either have a heart or you don't. You either have a soul or you don't. There's not much of a, left, right in this case. Which side of the road are you on? You either see that what's been done since 9/11 to innocent people in foreign lands is wrong, or you don't. You either believe that what goes around comes around, or you don't. If this is going to be a society where there's going to be a witch hunt for the man that wants to warn his fellow Americans so we turn away from our selfish ways, right? Shoot the messenger type of a thing, ooh, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign at all. We need to come together over the things that matter. You know what would matter in small communities if the internet was down? Water, food, safety, keeping outside threats and looters at bay, keeping our women safe from violation from those bandits and looters that would do harm. You know, the tribalism and the racism that's been programmed into us seems to overlook the amount of harm that they do to themselves, that people do to themselves. People that aren't racial outsiders. Things people of their own community do themselves. That's why they still have police forces. By the way, do you know the domestic violence rates against women in Russia? How about all the hardcore pornography that can help liberate the women of our culture in Los Angeles? It's really great to be liberated, isn't it? By many swords of male sexual anatomy. Liberation, freedom! It's like, wait a minute. What about some of the enslavement and desecration done to women in our own society that men have done to women in our own society? Well, why aren't people going, hey, wait a minute. This whole bait and switch, rape UG generalization, that's propaganda for a genocide. This is calling. These are calling warning signs. A calling is coming of a particular DNA on the earth. They are terraforming the earth, ladies and gentlemen, in more ways than chemtrails and Fukushima soup. Today's so-called liberty conspiracy movement and so-called intuitive woman has dropped the ball on the ultimate desecration against Gaia and the earth. And it is a calling of human beings that are products of the Creator, of women. When you have a society when women aren't even protesting in droves the violations of other women overseas or the murder of those babies, which came from women, and you're seeing like mothers in the West not even protesting what's happening to mothers over, this is reptilian. I will call it what I see it. This is alien. We've already been taken over from within. We need to bring back the compassion for all human lives, in a real sense of all lives being valuable. The divine feminine and masculine spirit must return for there to be any hope. Right now, we live in a world where even the higher or deeper down the rabbit hole I go, or some might say higher the frequency in some moments to where I'm taking the message higher, I'll see how it will alienate me from those around me. Whether it be in an urban environment or a rural environment. If I was a Democrat, if I was a Republican, different situation. If I was a member of so-called self-professed, even if I was lying to you, if I just read scripture and just did Christian stuff, then have all the Bible. Now you got my vote, Alex. You're flying my flag. You fly my flag, my flag. Don't you burn my flag. But I'm outside the box. I've always been outside the box. So I'm only going to reach so many dozen to 100 of you, the same amount per capita on average that I was reaching 5 years ago. When you walk the true path, you're not going to be received by tens of thousands of human beings. That's why a lot of people out there, they pick their paths on YouTube. They get their niche down. You know, you can have Infinite Waters over here. Hey, everybody. Hello. Positive thoughts. And just say that every day. Positive thoughts, everybody. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Boom. 1 million subs. Tell them what they want to hear. Well, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear or what they want me to say. This is not paradise. This is a fallen world. The propaganda being designed now is there to keep souls in this matrix because there's an opportunity coming for people to evolve beyond the confines of this matrix. It may coincide with the flipping of the Earth's magnetic poles. I don't know. I don't think you should fear death. I do not think at this point, I think that should be obvious that we should fear the grid going down. I do not think it should be obvious. I should think it should be obvious at this point. I should not be in fear of anything at all, period. And I've stated those reasons why. And I will be writing details about my life, chapter by chapter, to a private select audience on demand. So you have both video and written. 19 cents a day. That's what I'm asking of my supporters. 19 cents a day. Help me build my platform. OutsideTheBox.vhx.tv. Become the 29th subscriber today. Also support over at Patreon. You can also show your support over via PayPal. Thank you to those of you that have supported, especially recently, because I'm choosing to recenter on what I believe are the most important topics. And that's not responding to the newswire. That's not going to Google News and going, hey, I'm going to talk for 30 minutes like this. It's the point where I don't like to use the word anxiety, but I will, I'll be honest with you, about what the future of YouTube holds. To the point where, for my own survival, if I got to go back and do like the grittiest job out there, once I get working transportation, I think I'm going to need to look for a car right now because I'm having issues with the other. And I don't think I want to be stuck. I think that I'm already I can continue doing videos here and I will. And I thank those of you that have supported, but I'm also thinking backup. And to not be like holding on to this technology. Like I'm going to use this technology with the intended purpose of waking up souls and provide information that I think can provide the inspiration and the hope and the energy to help people unplug from the matrix. I believe it has value. So I believe that the Creator has gifted me with the time and space to do this. The Creator in the world could change tomorrow. So you could say that I'm living in the moment with a sense of intuition that change is upon the horizon. And now is the time to seize the bull by the horns and remind everyone we need to come together over the things that matter. People need to wake up to where they haven't come together over the things that matter. People need to wake up to the negative karma that has been created, that people are being taught to create for themselves. People need to know about the entrapment of souls. There are people out there that are thinking that Trump is about to drain the swamp. They're the farthest thing from intuition, yet they purport to be sharing intuitive information to their audiences. I've never seen humans more asleep for many, many lifetimes. So with that, folks, I'm going to conclude this. Thanks for watching.